to this week's social studies. We're going to be learning about society and people. So let's just jump right in. A society is a collective group of people that live and interact in the same geographic area. That means in the same place. Ever since prehistoric times, early man realized that there was a benefit to having a group of people work together towards a common goal. Even early hunters and gatherers realized that to hunt themselves was a big challenge, but when they put themselves in a group and relied on each other's skills, they could actually be more successful with hunting. So, oftentimes, when we have a problem or an issue, it is easier to solve it as a group or a community. Early civilizations grew and grew because people specialized in their roles, that means their jobs or their abilities, and this allowed the civilization to grow and thrive. So when people all have different skills within a group, then we all benefit from that. In modern times, we don't have civilizations per se, but we have societies. What is a society? Sometimes when we're talking about a society, we're talking about a group of people in a country. You could be referring to our society within our state. You could be referring to the society as a whole, meaning worldwide society. Usually we'll talk about that as humankind. You sometimes hear about that as mankind, meaning humans, not just men. People have individual roles or jobs or responsibilities within a society. So, for instance, in our society, people have jobs within our society. We rely on each other. I don't have to be a teacher and a dentist. I can just be a teacher. There are people in our society that rely on my skills as a teacher. And then when I need to go to a dentist, I am happy to go to a dentist who is trained and understands their job. So within our society, everyone has jobs that are very important and we rely on each other. So we need people to build our houses. We need people to be our doctors. We need people to drive our buses. We need people at the grocery store. We need people at City Hall. All of these things we rely on when we need something done. And we are more powerful and more successful as a group. People earn a living, meaning that they have a job and they earn money. And that means that they spend money within a society. And we count on that to happen. I'm a teacher and I provide a service and I get paid for that. And in return, children get educated and can grow up and get their own jobs and get their own skills to contribute to society. And then when I have money in my bank account, I can go shopping and I can get my food. I can go out to dinner. I can go get a manicure. I can go, to a museum. So I spend my money in different places around the society, and then my money benefits the people working in those other areas. So the woman at the grocery store or the man at the grocery store, they earn a salary, and part of what I spend there when I buy food helps pay them. So we all help each other within a society. In a society, people are also expected to follow the laws of the society. And we have talked before about how important government is to a society. And when people do not have rules or laws or structure, things become chaotic, things become crazy. And so we need rules and laws for safety and structure. And it is a job of everyone in society to follow those laws to keep others safe and secure. Let's go into what is a society a little bit deeper. Society needs a government in order to keep order and ensure safety. We don't just trust everyone to do the right thing. We need someone to be the leader. We need someone to make the rules. We need someone to enforce the rules. Even in a classroom setting, if there are no rules, it gets crazy fast. So we need a teacher to be in charge of enforcing the rules. We need a principal to make the rules of a school to keep things safe. A society has certain customs or beliefs or traditions. Those are known as a culture. Societies grow and change over time. Societies make advancements over time. People are smart and people make inventions. And so our society changes over the course of history. Today, we have amazing technology online that lets us search for any fact at the click of a finger. But, 50 years ago, we had to look that up in books. We had to go to the library to find out facts and figures and things like that. So now we have the internet. So we make inventions and we advance with that. There was a time when we didn't have a telephone. And now we have cell phones with us most of the time. So societies grow and change over time, and they do make advancements and they do make inventions. Um, so some of those advancements can be good, some of those advancements can cause us to struggle, but we also learn over time. So now we're going to take a look at some characteristics of a society. Here is a chart that has a lot of information on it, and we're going to be practicing this in class a lot because our goal by the end of 2 weeks studying about people and society is for us to be able to fill in this chart on our own. So that's a big, big challenge. It's important that you pay attention. So we have different characteristics or parts of a society. We have history. That's the past events that have shaped a society. We have culture. That's the way of life for a group of people, like religion, beliefs, language, holidays, art and music, clothing, entertainment, and food. We have a government. That is how a society is managed and run, and by whom? The laws. Who makes the laws? Who enforces the laws? The court system that decides if the laws are legal. A tax system to collect money from people so that they can pay for services. The military, public safety, the country's leaders are all part of government. Economics, ways a society makes choices to satisfy needs and wants. So we all need things and we all want things, including our society. So resources are things like trees for wood, oil for heat, coal, solar power. We have resources like things we get from the earth, like aluminum, different metals that we get. Currency and money is part of economics. We all use money most of us in the world use money as our means to get what we need and what we want, but not always. We'll talk about that more in economics. Banks are a part of economics. Producers and consumers, the people that make things are the producers, and the people that buy things are consumers. Interdependence means we count on other countries, we count on other people for our economics to run smoothly. We count on people. For instance, we don't grow oranges in New Hampshire. We have to get our oranges from Florida. So we depend on Florida for some of our things. So social structure. This is how people of a society are organized, usually by level of money and power. Social classes is something we'll get more into later, but social classes are how people are divided up based on the level of power and money they have. The power of money is important in social structure. The power of education is hugely important in social structure. The roles that men play in a society and the roles that women play in a society, those are all part of social structure. And each society has different rules and customs around these things. Achievements, those are the things that people have advanced or invented. This is the way that citizens in a society make improvements. So we have lots of inventions in science and technology, in medicine and health, in education. Architecture is how we build things, the structures that we build. Social change, human rights, inventions, and discoveries. Citizenship, the rights and responsibilities of an individual within a society. So we have rights as citizens like free speech and freedom of religion. We have freedom of the press, the right to own a gun. Those kinds of things are guaranteed us in our Bill of Rights that we talked about last week. We also have responsibilities of citizens, meaning we're responsible to follow the rules and the laws. We're responsible to do things like voting and to treat each other with respect. Patriotism, the love of our country, would fall under citizenship. And character, all of those things that make us who we are on the inside, like honesty and integrity and respect and responsibility and telling the truth. Things like those are what make up our character and help us get along with other people. Those are kind of like social skills. And the last thing is global connections. How do we stay connected with things in the globe, other places on the globe? So this is how one society is connected with other societies. So sometimes those are connected through conflict, or meaning troubles, problems, and sometimes we are at peace with other societies. Interdependence, we rely on other places in the world for the things we need. We get oil from the Middle East. We get pineapples from Central America and Hawaii. We count on other countries for what we have in our country. United Nations is a group of countries throughout the world that try to come to common understandings to get along so that we're more at peace than we are at war or conflict. NATO is another organization of countries that try to get along and have peace rather than conflict. And of course, keeping up with current events is very important when we're trying to stay connected to other places in the globe. That's watching the news and getting our news from different sources, and finding out what's going on in the world. Let's take a look at each one of these a little bit closer. History, the past events that shaped a society. So within our American society, we have a different history than, for instance, England does, or France, or Germany, or Brazil, or China. So within history is the past events that happened in our society, the wars that we've had and why, the reasons for the wars, and historical figures. Here we see Rosa Parks, one of my favorite heroines throughout history. And here we see the beaches of Normandy with, in World War II, storming the beaches of Normandy. Culture, the way of life for a society. This includes things like religion and things that they believe in that culture, the language they speak, what holidays and traditions do they celebrate, the art that they have, the music, the clothing, the entertainment, the food. The culture in Brazil is very different from the culture in Iceland. And these are the reasons why those things are different. All of these make up a society's culture. Societies need a government, someone to make the laws, enforce the laws, the court system. There are different types of government that we'll be studying about this year. Our society in the United States happens to have a republic and a democracy. It's kind of a mix. So the power resides in elected officials. We elect our officials, and then they represent us in the government. That makes us a republic. A democracy is ruled by the people, meaning that the people take part in influencing the government and influencing who we elect for our leaders. Monarchy is a king or a queen that has power. A dictatorship is someone who takes power by authority or by force. We'll learn some more about government this year. Economics. We're going to learn a lot about economics this year. Economics is about resources. How do we get what we want and what we need? We need money to do that in most places. Banks, producers, and consumers. Who makes things? Who buys things? How do we count on other people? The taxes. How are taxes collected and what do they pay for? Income, money coming in when we have a job, and expenses, money going out when we have things that we need to buy. Social structure is how people of a society are organized. So in every society since the beginning of time, we have separated people into different classes depending on their level of power. And their level of power is different based on how much money they have or how much education they have. So we will talk about this at a different time, but basically, the more money you have, it's not a fair system always, but the more money you have, the more power you have in our society. We also can offset that with the power of education. The more education you have as a person, the more power you have within our society. The higher up you go, the more you can earn for a job, the more you can earn for money. So some people are born into money, and they are born the first day of their life, they are rich. And other people are born without money. And so they are further down on the social class or the social structure. As they earn money, they can go up. Also, people at the top that are born rich or that have worked their way to be rich, they can also lose their money and go down in their social structure. We'll talk a lot more in depth about this. But basically, it's important to understand that education, if you are born at one of these areas at the bottom of our social structure in our country, education is your way up. Education, and that is why we try hard in school. We listen, we try to get the best education that we can, because we have to start realizing that education is very much power. Roles of men and women are different in every society. We'll talk more about that in the year. Society has achievements. All the things that were invented in our society would be part of this. When we do actually education is an achievement. Some countries don't have public schools like we have public schools, and you get to have a free education, kindergarten through 12th grade, and some countries don't have that, or don't allow children to get an education, or don't allow girls to get an education, going back to power of women and men in a society. We make advancements in medicine and health. We invent different kinds of things that can help us cure diseases. We have different science inventions, different kinds of buildings that we build. Social change. Over time, we change as a group of people. The civil rights movement gave a lot of people rights that they didn't have just because of the color of their skin. And the civil rights movement made a lot of change so that people could go to the same school, drink out of the same water fountain, shop at the same store. So we will talk a little bit about the civil rights movement this year, here and there. Human rights. People fight for human rights within their society. Some people, the government is in a very strong control and makes all of the rules and tells them what to do and when to do it and what jobs they can have and what religion to practice. And some countries don't have a court system that allows them to be proven innocent until proven guilty. And so some societies have to fight for human rights, basic things that humans deserve to have. And of course, inventions and discoveries. Societies expect citizenship. It's important that we all behave in a way to get along with one another. Otherwise, there is conflict. And when people don't get along, then there are arguments, and there are it leads to unrest. It leads to people really being at each other. So we have rights as citizens as guaranteed in our Bill of Rights and our Constitution. And we also have responsibilities like following the law and voting and being involved in our community and trying to give back. Patriotism, the love for our country, character, all of those things that make us a better person. Honesty, kindness, respect, responsibility, integrity. Let's take a look. Keeping connected. We keep connected with all other places within the world. You can see here how all of the continents are interconnected. We count on people from all over the world and countries from all over the world. We also like to maintain a relationship of friendship with other countries in the world, because when countries are not friends, or at least allies, or at least can cooperate and try to get along, then we have things like war, and that becomes very dangerous and very upsetting for both countries. United Nations is a group that we count on to try to keep us at peace. So is NATO, and current events is keeping up with the news in different places. The success of a society means that they have to have invested members to contribute. That means that every member of a society has to give back in some way. And when people don't give back, then the society is not as strong. So, for instance, we all get jobs so that we can contribute to the society. We all have money that we earn from our jobs, and we contribute by buying things in our economy, and that contributes to the society. When we all try to make the society better, then our society is stronger. A society needs a stable government and leaders that care about the success of the society's future. We look at the whole society and how can we be better. That's something that we should always be looking at. How can the society be better? A society needs responsible and respectful citizens. When people are not following the rules and laws, or not being responsible and respectful, it's not a very nice place to live. A society needs educated citizens. That is why we have public education, K through 12, because it's important that educated citizens are citizens that can give more back to their society. An educated citizen can have a good job and contribute to society. An educated citizen can have money that they can contribute to our economics. So when people are educated, the society becomes better. A society needs involved citizens. Some people help out with community service. They give back to their community. Maybe they do that through their church or through their school or through an organization. Involved citizens means keeping up with what's going on, being involved in helping others and standing up for what's right. A society needs to make advancements. We all want to make life better for ourselves. So we invent things, we achieve things to help everyone else. A society is only as strong as its members. So when people are not doing these things, then our society weakens, and then we can feel that. Societies rely on other societies for success as well. Now, for our quiz, it's going to be a very complicated quiz, and we're going to take a couple of weeks to be practicing these things in class. But you will have this chart, and you are going to have to find where certain things go in this chart. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different areas of society, and then we have the 8 definitions that you need to know, and you need to know where each of these things goes. So for instance, if I say lawmakers, and I give you that as something on the quiz, you're going to need to be able to say, well, where does lawmakers go? Does that go in global connection, citizenship, achievements, history? You need to know that lawmakers is part of government. You need to know that banks are a part of economics. You need to know that the roles of men and the roles of women are in social structure. You'll need to know that patriotism and character and rights of citizen go in citizenship. So we're going to spend some time, but this will be a big week studying. I can take you to this one. This is where I might mix these up and ask you to tell me what goes here. What is the category name of past events, wars, and historical figures? By just giving you the definition, by just giving you these things, you may need to tell me what it is. Of course, this one would be history. And then you may see something like this, where I give you economics and I give you a bunch of words, and you'll need to decide which goes under economics. So this week is a big week of studying and paying attention. So I hope you enjoyed learning about society and people, and enjoy learning about more of it this week. And keep in mind that if you need to go back and watch this video again, you may feel free to do so if you did not understand. Make sure you are doing the homework and practice for this week so that you can better prepare yourself for the quiz. Okay, have a great day.